October 7th, in which some 1,200 people were killed and 251 others were kidnapped by Hamas and other armed groups. Well, joining me live now is Joanne Cummings, former U.S. diplomat and director of Middle East Studies at Baylor University. We heard there Israel saying it's going to expand this latest offensive across most of the Gaza Strip. Now, what do you make of these latest military moves?
I don't think they're surprising. I do think that the challenge that Netanyahu has is that he's balancing all sorts of domestic issues, including those protests, along with a desire to be able to show something tangible in the way of a victory. He does not have the hostages back. That's never apparently been the primary focus of the military operation. So it's unlikely that that is at this point. If you look at the recent bombings and the recent movements, they don't seem to be dedicated toward finding and releasing hostages. So if you look at it from the point of view of there is a distinct military goal here, the only two military goals that really seem to be plausible at this time is the forced expulsion or the encouragement of people to leave because they have no food or water, and at the same time, the establishment of complete Israeli control, whether or not they are on every square foot, but they enable the military to preclude anyone else from moving there.
Yeah, and we should say, Israel says it's evacuating civilians to protect them from harm and prevent Hamas from using them as human shields. But, when we look at this displacement, hundreds of thousands of Gazans now being displaced, what kind of impact has this resumption, really, of the conflict had on civilians within Gaza?
I think it's absolutely devastating. Many of the bombings in this latest offensive have targeted no one but women and children. So, we have an attack on civilians as civilians, an attempt to create devastation, uncertainty, total fear, abject fear in the population. They've been moved from place to place. They've been told over the months that this is safe, that's safe, but then those places wind up being bombed. So in this particular case, the idea of moving people to safety, I think we have to take with a grain of salt, because in the past, when safe zones have been established, they have very soon thereafter been bombed.
Where do you think negotiations stand now over either, another short-term ceasefire deal or something more long-term?
They are continuing to have those discussions. I'm sure one eye on all sides is on the discussions going on in Oman between the United States and Iran, however configured. However, without some sort of sense of a tangible gain, frankly, from either side, it's hard to see that the conversations are going to go further. This last ceasefire, which did enable a certain amount of humanitarian relief to come in, a certain amount of sorting out of the problem, has been more than overcome by what has happened since. I mean, this latest bombing again at the Baptist hospital, even though apparently there was a warning beforehand, take people out, the fact that you are destroying the ability of people to save lives in some ways means that you are encouraging people to die. So that is the way people on the ground feel. They do not feel that their safety is a priority in terms of the IDF or the Israeli government trying to protect them from this impact.
Joanne Cummings, the director of Middle East Studies at Baylor University, thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure.